Hey guys, Linda here. Welcome back to Adore. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. Coming to you today with a reading wrap up, letting you know what I'm reading and what I finished reading. Still reading on Here's to Protect by Sharon C. Cooper because I stopped reading on this because I got the fifth book in from the Gaslight series. So I started back reading those books. And as you know, if you see my other video, I got quite a few books from the library, and I need to finish those books up because I think I need to return them this week. So that's why I'm still reading on this. So I'm not gonna get any more from the library yet because I'm gonna try to read my TBR and get some of those books down before I go back to the Gaslight series because I've been reading all those books and I'll go over those. So I haven't finished this. And I did, and the rest of these books are on the Gaslight series because I did finish the ones I had. This is the fifth book in the series, and it's Murder on Mulberry Bend. This series is on Sarah and Frank. Sarah is a midwife, and Frank is a police detective. And I'm really enjoying this series. This is by Victoria Thompson. And in this series, they are solving quite a few murders. It's mostly on the murder aspect of the series. Is not on their even though they are becoming friends and getting involved and kind of having feeling for each other, but mostly this is on them solving murders. So if you're looking for like more romance, no, this is not the book for you. This is more on them solving the mystery or the murder or whatever is going on that they need to solve, and just about their relationship of getting to know each other. This is a very, 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 very slow burn, so I don't even know when they're going to get together. I did look ahead to find out that they do get together because I wanted to know, did it even have a little romance in here? So they do eventually end up getting together, but I don't know what book that was. I can't remember what it was, but in the books that I've read, they're not together yet. They're still uh, tiptoeing around each other because he think he's not good enough for her because she come from a rich family, but she did not marry she's a widow, and Frank is a widow, and Sarah did not end up marrying a rich guy. She married a doctor, a doctor, and her family didn't agree with that because she has been on the outs with her family for a while, but her and her family they finally started talking back with each other, but at first, yeah, they had a strange relationship. And Frank used to be married, and he didn't like midwife because he thinks that a midwife, contributed to his wife passing away because she was pregnant, and she ended up dying. But the baby did survive because Frank has a son. And in this one, Murder on Mulberry Bend, this is going to be on like back in the 1800s. If a woman didn't end up getting married, she was really on hard time because your family wanted you to leave the house and they wanted you to get married and leave. But if you didn't end up getting married, you were just in the way, like a Spencer or whatever. And some female end up getting thrown out their house because if you had relations with a man without marrying him, your parents threw you out on the street. So it was rough back in the 1800s. Yeah, it was rough back then. So this one is on women who had a hard time, so they end up going to this mission. Back then they had mission for women who were on hard times or couldn't make it, so they end up going to this mission, and the mission would help them learn, give them a trade, help them with a trade, and help them find a way to try to make money in this era. So one of the girls at this mission ends up getting killed, and Sarah and Frank try to solve the mystery. And I really enjoyed this one. I gave this a 4-star, and this is book number 4 in the Gaslight mystery. Really enjoyed that. 4 stars. Next I have, this is book number 6, and this is Murder on Marble Row. In this one, Frank and Sarah try to solve, I think, a bomb explode in a office building, and I think a businessman end up getting killed, and I think that's what happened in this one. Let me see here. See what happened on. Yep, an explosion. When an explosion kills a wealthy industrialist, Gregory Van Dyke, police commissioner, and that's another one. You can have some characters that from real life in here because I didn't know that Teddy Roosevelt was actually a police commissioner back in the day. And in this book, they in the first couple of books they mention Teddy Roosevelt, but you never get to meet him. But I think in this one you actually get Frank actually get to meet Teddy. He has to go into talk to Teddy Roosevelt because Teddy Roosevelt want him to solve this mystery of this businessman getting killed, and Teddy asks Frank to go and look into it, and that's how he meets Teddy Roosevelt. He goes there and actually talks to him, because in the first couple of books they always mention him because back in the 1800s the police department, let's just say, it was very corrupt. So when Teddy Roosevelt came and took over and became the commissioner, he tried to root out all the bad cops and only hiring cops that he thought were actually going to actually do their job. Because if you didn't have any money, if you was poor and you didn't have any money, and like somebody in your family got killed or whatever, and you think the cops was going to solve it, no. If you couldn't pay them to find out what happened to your family member, it wasn't going to get solved. It just fell to the wayside. You just might well move on with your life, because it was rough back in the 1800s. And then it's the melting pot. You got all different kinds of people in New York, because you got the Italians, you got the Asians, you got the what else? The Irish. That's why they call it a melting pot, because you had all these people who never mixed with other people from out of their nationality, all thrown into New York, into all this together. And so if you don't like a lot, this is a hard-hitting murder mystery. These books are, because Victoria Thompson, she go there with some of these murders. And you got a lot of prejudice going on. You got prejudice on the police force. You got prejudice with when Frank be trying to solve it, like an Italian got murdered or something like that. They be using those derogatory words describing people. Yeah, it's a lot. So if you're not into that, if you don't want to hear about no racism or anything like that, especially Victoria Thompson, she go there with the racism. So if you don't like that in your murder mysteries or anything like that, or in your books, these won't be for you, because these are hard-hitting murder mysteries. She go there. These are not cozy mysteries, for one thing. They are not cozy. They go there like, is she going there? And she goes there. She goes there with the language. She goes there with the racism. So if that's not for you, these won't be for you. But for me, it don't bother me, because this stuff actually happens in real life, so it don't bother me. And I'm really, I've told you that before, I'm really, really enjoying this series. So in this one, an industrialist, he get bombs, and they think that it's I think they think that it's some kind of I guess you would call them a gang, or they're trying to, because you got the rich and you got the poor, and you got the poor trying to fight for better rights for the poor people in these industries, with them working for better wages and whatever. So they think these people has bummed this guy off because, or something like that, because he not paying good wages to his people that work for him. So they think these people did it. And so Frank and Sarah ends up getting into it some kind of way. I don't forget how she got involved, but she ends up helping Frank with trying to find out who bombed this man's office. And I really enjoyed it. I gave this a 4-star, in this Murder on Marble Row, book number 6. And then we got book number 7, Murder on Lenox Hill. This is on a girl who she hasn't matured. Her body has matured, but her brain has matured. She kind of slow on learning and stuff like that. And her parent is very they keep her protected and everything, but she ends up getting pregnant. So the mystery is, who got this girl pregnant, and when did they get her pregnant? Because her mom don't let her go nowhere without her, and the only place they go is to church and home. So what happened? So they're trying to find out, how did this girl get pregnant, and who would get this girl pregnant, because they know she kind of, she's still child, even though she has a woman's body, she's still childlike, and like, who would do that? So in this one, they're trying to solve what happened to this girl, and then almost at the end, there's a murder, because like I said, the only place this girl go is home and church, and the preacher, their reverend, ends up getting killed. So who killed him? Did he have something to do with the girl? Yeah. It was very interesting. I really, really enjoyed this one. I gave this a 4.5 stars, because it's a lot of layers in this one. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. And this is Murder on Lenox Hill, book number 7. And then we got book number 8, Murder in Little Italy. I really enjoyed this one too. And this one was on, you got this Irish girl who, is she at the, what was this one about? I think she's Irish and she ends up getting killed. Let's read the back of this. Called to attend a birth in Little Italy. Oh, I remember now. This is on, you got a mixed marriage here because you got an Italian guy. He's Italian and the girl is Irish. I think she is. Yep. He's Italian and the girl is Irish. They say they're immigrants. So the problem is that when she married this guy, the guy's mother, like I said, there's a lot of racism going on. So she was not happy with him marrying an Irish girl. So the mother-in-law, she's a trip. She did not go for this. And the girl is the reason they got married because she ends up getting pregnant. And Sarah is called to deliver the baby. So when the baby is born, the baby is full term because they was like, at first they thought the baby was coming early because him and the girl hadn't started going together but a little while before she got pregnant. So now they realized that the girl was pregnant before she even met the guy. So now we got a bad situation going on here because they find out that the girl was already pregnant before she met this guy and he didn't even know. So they find out that she lied about that whole situation. So of course, what's going to happen. The girl ends up getting killed in the house. So somebody in the house murdered her. Now they got to find out who did it. Was it her husband? Was it the mother-in-law? Was it the other sons in the house? Was it the other son's wives in the house? Who did it? So this was a good one. I enjoyed this one too. This is Murder in Little Italy by Victoria Thompson. I gave this a 4-star. And then we have book number 9, I think, Murder in Chinatown. And this was interesting, too. You get a history lesson with these books. In this one, you find out that an Irish lady, she's married an Asian man. What happened was, back in the 1800s, when, like I said, when people were coming over from different countries to America, they let the Asian guys in, but they wouldn't let Asian women in. Only the Asian men could come. So they wouldn't let the Asian women come. They just brought the men because they wanted them to do work and labor and all that stuff, but they wouldn't let the women come. I forgot what the reason was why they didn't let the Asian women come. So you only had Asian men in America. So the men eventually, it's a man, eventually gonna find somebody gonna fall in love with it, but it's not gonna be somebody from his own race. They were mostly falling in love with these not Italian, but the Irish women, because I think that the Asian men need to learn how to speak American, so they would go to these churches. You got your missionaries and the churches and stuff, and they would go there and they would meet these volunteer women who were volunteering to help them learn how to read, and they would fall in love with these women who was not from their own race. They were not Asian. They were most of them was Irish, I think. So this is on an Asian man and an Irish woman, and they've had kids, and their daughter ends up missing, and they end up finding she done ran away with this. I think he's either Irish or Italian. She's ran away with this guy, and they've got married, and then she ends up getting killed. So they trying to find out why girl ends up getting killed. So now Sarah and Frank need to find out what happened to her. Was it her husband's family members in this one also that killed her, or what happened? Because she was killed outside, and they were like, didn't nobody see it right in front of the tenant place where they lived at? Didn't nobody see what happened? So I really enjoyed this one and this Murder in Chinatown. And like I said, it's a history, because I had to go look that up. I was like, they didn't let Asian women come over, and then the men they just had the men over here, and then you had the Irish and the Asian hooking up, the Irish women and the Asian men hooking up and getting married, and they would live in Chinatown. That's why it's called Murder in Chinatown, because it ends up with the girl being from Chinatown, and she's a mixed race between Irish and Asian. So I really enjoyed this one too. I'm getting a history lesson reading these books. And that is book number 9. Then I have book number 10, Murder on Bank Street. And this one was about, let's see here. Oh, and this one, I don't know if I mentioned in an earlier video that Sarah's husband was murdered. So in this one, Frank is trying to solve Sarah's husband's murder. And this was pretty interesting too. I really, really enjoyed this murder on Bank Street. So he eventually ends up finding out, because this murder, her husband, and the reason that her husband murdered didn't get solved, like I said, if you didn't have no money, even though Sarah's parents had money, like I said, she had broke away from her parents. She wasn't speaking to them or anything, and her father did not pay for her, pay for them, pay the police or whoever to find out what happened to her husband, because Sarah didn't have nothing to do with them. And like I said, the police force was corrupt. If you didn't have money to pay for your family member to find out what happened to them, yeah, it wasn't happening. So that's why no one ever tried to investigate what happened to her husband. But when she met Frank and she told Frank about what happened, Frank eventually goes and try to solve the murder. And in this one, it ends up getting solved in this murder on Bank Street, Victoria Thompson. And then that was book number 10. Let's see, get book number 11 here, Murder on Waverly Place. And this one is, what was this one about? This one is on Sarah. Like I said, I think I mentioned earlier that Sarah finally get back in touch with her family, and they've getting close again, where she's getting close with her mother and stuff. So in this one, Sarah had a sister, and her sister also wasn't for out, being all rich. Her sister wanted to go out and help, poor people and stuff like that, and her father wasn't having it. And then her sister ended up falling in love with a guy who worked for her father. I think he was a clerk, and her father wasn't having none of that. He disowned her, and she had to run away, and she got pregnant. First of all, she got pregnant out of wedlock. So they wanted her to go overseas until she had the baby and then give the baby away. But Sarah's sister wasn't having none of that. So when they tried to put her on the boat to go overseas, once they left, she got off the boat and ran away, and her and the clerk got married. They ended up getting married, but she would never ask her family for anything. So she ends up also dying in childbirth. So that's what happened with Sarah's sister. So in this one, Sarah's mother is very upset that, that her daughter passed away, and she didn't end up getting to talk to her daughter and tell her that she was sorry, and they wanted to help her or whatever. So in this one, Sarah's mother ends up going to a seance to see can she reach her oldest daughter to tell her that she was sorry. So it all ends up that once they're at the seance, somebody ends up getting murdered at the seance. So it's all about Sarah and Frank trying to solve what happened to this person who was at this seance, that her mother, because her mother was at the seance when the person got killed. So yeah, it's going to be a whole big old mess. So they trying to find out who murdered this person at the seance. I really, really enjoyed this one too. And then that's book number 11. And then I have book number 12, which is Murder on Lexington Avenue. And this also is going to be on a businessman who ends up getting killed at his office, and Frank's going to go there to investigate. And the way Sarah gets involved, he finds out that the man's wife is pregnant. So he calls Sarah to come and see about the man's wife. And this is all going to be dealing with people who are deaf, who can't hear, because I think the businessman's daughter is unable to hear, but she's been taking sign language, and she wanted to marry a deaf guy, but her dad don't want her. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of prejudice going on. There's a lot of prejudice in the deaf community, because between you doing sign language and between you reading, you got some people who can actually talk, even though they're deaf, they can actually talk, and they can also read lips. So his daughter could talk. She could talk. She had like a speech impairment, but she could speak, and she would also read lips. But the guy that she wanted to marry, he couldn't read lips or anything like that. He just did sign language. So her daddy had a prejudice against people who just do sign language. Yeah, it's a lot going on in here. So like her father ends up getting killed. So they try to find out who murdered the girl's father. And I really, really enjoyed this one too. I gave this one 4 stars. I gave all of them 4 stars except for one of them I gave 4.5 stars. And this Murder on Lexington Avenue. Now I read all these books. Look how many books I read for this month is out. Quite a few. If I could go through my TBR like this, I would be doing good. And I was like, what is stopping me from reading my books, the books down on my TBR? Is it just that I don't want to read them? So from now on, if I look at a book and I don't want to read it right away, I'm not buying it. Nope, not getting it. Because I was like, what is stopping me from reading these books on my TBR? Because, see, I wanted to read all of these about Sarah and Frank. So I just went through these like it. Because once I finished reading the first one, I would move on to the second one. I didn't stop reading. I just kept reading. So I said, for now, it must that I don't want to read these books. I want to read them, but I don't want to read them right away. You know, if I don't want to read it right away, I'm not going to buy it because it's just sitting here. I want to only get books that I'm going to get and read right away. Because I was like, if this had been my TBR, I would have been through with my TBR because I went through these books like it wasn't nothing. But anyway, let me move on. But that's all I have for now. I just wanted to let you know I finished up all the books I had on my all the books I had got from the library in the Gaslight Mystery. But there are 26 books as of now. I think she's supposed to be coming out with another book. I don't know if it's next month, in April. It's going to be book number 27 in this series. So I have, how many more books I have to read in this series? 14, 15, 13, somewhere around there. That is to catch up to where she's at now, like book number 27. So I have 14 or 15 more books to read in this series, but I'm going to get them from the library, but I'm not going to get them right away because I need to start on my TBR, and I'm just going to try to just pick up a book and just try to get through my TBR before I go back and try to get some more Gaslight Mystery books. Because if I get the books, I'm just going to read them. I'm not even going to start on my TBR. I'm just going to be reading Gaslight Mystery, and I need to get this TBR down. But that's all I have for now. Until next time, I hope you're reading some good romances or some good books out there. And if you haven't tried the Gaslight Mystery, I would recommend it. If you don't mind your books getting into a lot of hardcore, you got racism, you got some hardcore murder stuff going on. Like I said, these are not your cozy mystery. These are not cozy mysteries. So if you don't want to read none of that, this might not be for you. But if that stuff don't bother you, if you don't mind hardcore, hard-hitting, hard subjects, or why people do what they do, then I would highly recommend this series. It's the Gaslight Mystery series by Victoria Thompson. But that's all I have for now. Until next time, guys, keep reading those romances, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.